Hello there, friends. Welcome to day 16. The topic for today is, so I was reading more of the book by Joseph Campbell, The Myth of Light. He talks about there are these 4, 3, 2, 1 ages of existence, I think is the best way to say it, in, I think, ancient Indian philosophy or religiosity. I'm not sure if it's the Upanishads. But anyway, he describes this concept of the 4, 3, 2, 1, which are 4 separate kind of ages, which I think might even pertain to a book I have called the 4 Cycles or something of that sort. It's also known in other disciplines, I'm not sure, as the gold, silver, bronze, and iron age, respectively. 4, 3, 2, 1. And the 4, 3, 2, 1 relates to this idea of a sacred cow, and how in the gold age, or in the age of 4, the sacred cow had 4 legs, and people were living prosperously, and something about wine and milk filling the rivers, and you never had to worry about what to do because you just act spontaneously, and it was all correct. And then you go down to 3 legs, and then 2 legs, and then 1 leg, and things just get worse and worse and worse. And now we're questioning who we are, what we're supposed to do. The caste classes are mixed, and this is where it's, got some stuff that I don't quite agree with, but, we won't go into depth on that. But the caste system, how people are supposed to follow their roles, and I don't know, maybe that does sound kind of nice to a degree, right? Just knowing your life's purpose. And it is nice sometimes to just be told what to do, but freedom as as a citizen of the United States, freedom is, it's kind of in your blood to not want other people to tell you what to do to some degree. Some people, obviously, there's always outliers. But yeah, in this age of 1 leg of the cow, the idea is, how is a cow supposed to stand on 1 leg? Well, it's trying, and that's what I suppose we're trying to do. But I'm going to read the first paragraph I wrote down here because it kind of captures the feeling that was really almost upsetting, because I love Joseph Campbell's work. I learn a lot about various forms of religion and spirituality through his work. I like to think that it sparks hope to some degree. I wrote down here, every day it feels as if any attempt to correct this course that the world is on is completely and utterly hopeless. I want to be real and express my true feelings in these moments that I capture in this video and such. And in this moment, to be quite honest, things feel dire. Yeah, essentially talks about how we're in the age of 1 leg of the sacred cow, or the iron age, in which the end is essentially nigh. Yeah, some people today claim that we are in a very prosperous time. And if you count how many years we all get to spend on this planet on average compared to the past, yes, we are. But is that the true measurement of prosperity? Is just how long you spend on this planet? Or is the quality of those years as much, if not more important than the quantity? That's not to say when medieval times were happening and like the plague was around, life expectancy was like, 38, 40 years old, that things were better, pretty miserable. But perhaps there is some truth to this age of the 4 legs of the sacred cow, or a golden age that existed where we were less concerned with the material goods and various aspects of modern society that are kind of negative side effects of our, quote, prosperity. So it's not a hopeful feeling. My entire aim is to bring positivity and spread the light and the good throughout the universe through whatever small impact I might impart. But this may just be a temporary feeling and a temporary outlook that does not pan out to be the ultimate truth. And that is my hope, that truly we are just going through the worst of it now, and soon we will experience the uptick of the never-ending cycles that make up the timeline of human civilization on a global scale. And maybe we'll make it through this. I surely hope so, but for now, perhaps we take inventory of exactly how much we each contribute to the demise of our global civilization, our global existence as a species. Perhaps we do not overlook the small things that we do, that we know, that we feel deep inside when we perform those acts, when we give in to these desires, when we succumb to our animal instincts, and perhaps we at the very least begin to bring awareness on a global scale to all of the ways that we contribute to the decline of the human race. Now, this is things like putting too much emphasis on not just material possession, but also comparison and being driven by getting the new technology, as opposed to, instead of spending so much time engaged in this technology, video games is, I don't want to hate on any one group of people. I mean, I used to play video games so much. I've spent weeks of my life trapped in front of a TV, and I know how fun they are. But that's just one thing, One thing I guess guess I could relate. I was looking up how to, not that I'm going to follow through on this, perhaps someday, how to grow a YouTube channel. For example, there was this video that this guy put out there of basically editing to the point where he's capitalizing on and almost ensuring the shortening of the attention span by making everything so quick and bop, 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 bop. Is that the best thing for us? Which, who am I to say what's best for humans? But it just seems like we spend so much time focusing on getting from one thing to the next and never really, like as cliche as it sounds, I really need to cut my hair for these kind of talks. I'm sounding too hippie right now. But being present with not just yourself, but others, and I feel like we're losing sense of what it is to be human. And okay, there's arguments to be made that perhaps what it is to be a human is changing. And that's where the tension lies, is this resistance to change. There's an underlying feeling that mental health is down, anxiety is up, and it could just be a lack of our ability to adapt to that change so quickly, or it's just that that's this kind of stuff that we're making happen unintentionally for the most part is not conducive to a good lived life. I try not to say happy, because happiness is not just the only thing, that the only metric to judge a successful life, more so I think than just money and material goods attained. I don't know, it just feels like we're headed in the wrong direction. Without acknowledgement of our contribution, no matter how small, how can we impart positive change? How can we begin to turn things around? So it starts with acknowledgement, having an awareness, and then acknowledging, hey, something's not right. And I don't think I'm the only one who feels this way. And that might be evident in some of the issues going on around the globe. And yeah, you could say that's not a result of materialism driving these wars and such. But I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. I would love thoughts, genuine thoughts, not just, wow, what a stupid idea. Let's get something better than that if we can. Let's open up a dialogue. Let's have a conversation. But this is where I kind of turn it around. However, let's not stop there. As I said, my innate tendency is towards optimism. How I prefer to look at this when all is said and done is, as I read Joseph Campbell's words about, there's nothing you or I can do to change the situation. We are just along for the ride. What this sparks in me is my rebellious nature. Why don't we look at this as a challenge? For me, I just tend to like to go against the grain, and so I go, who says we have to go along for this ride? Campbell goes on to say, individual initiative is of no use whatsoever. It has no value whatsoever. It is an intrusion upon the scene. Just as the sun rises on schedule and sets on schedule, as the moon waxes and wanes, and as plants grow and die, so must you live. And this is just saying that the individual has no ability to overturn this direction that we're headed with the cycle. It's about death and rebirth, essentially, on, again, a global scale. Who says that we have to go through with this cycle? Why can't we be the generation or the generations that interrupts that cycle? Is there not a little part of you that hears this and thinks, screw that, I think we can correct the cycle? Wouldn't it be incredible, beyond imagining, if we could partake in the generations that break the wheel, that perpetually leads to ultimate destruction? Wouldn't it be cool to partake in a universal revolt, to flip the table for once? What do you think the gods would think of that? I wanted to also say, if you're a monotheistic religious follower, sorry, it's just a metaphor, and it plays more along with these cycles and the Hindu philosophy, etc. The forces of evil or destruction, whatever you want to call them, may be fighting to ensure that the destruction does take place. What this likely implies in today's climate is that the few powerful elites will do everything within their power to ensure that the masses do not course correct. That's the lay people like you and me. While you might think that they would not want destruction out of the desire of self-preservation, the destruction may be a result of their unchecked power growing uncontrollably, which they do want. Now, this relates more to deeper topics I hope to touch on someday. So this is a revolution, and I think we can all be a part of it. I'm not saying to burn the cities. I'm not saying to tear down the walls of civilization. I'm saying we step up and put a stop to our own self-destruction of humanity by partaking in mindless activities that perpetuate the decline and do nothing but cause deterioration of the human life. Doesn't that sound great? Put an end to that. This is too long already. Anywho, it's important to pay attention when you have less than positive thoughts, not just shove those under the cover and let them bubble up someday later. I think it's important to dwell on those for a moment and see where it goes. I was afraid that there was going to be no coming out of that negative wallowing. There ended up being a light at the end of the tunnel. So if you come across a mental tunnel, just go through it. Might look dark, might look totally dark forever. There's usually a light at the end. That's enough for today. See you at day 17.